So this this week, somebody came to me and asked me, why is the put it not together? Why was it not together? Because it's not a Shona Moveres together. The answer to them, and this is 99% the answer, is because Tzav always has to fall on Shabbos HaGodel. And that's the only way to make it. So basically, it's the Shabbos always have to fall on Shabbos HaGodel, unless it's Shona Moveres. Then Shabbos HaGodel falls normally on the Tzor. But in any case, and I will explain the connection between Pekudei and Tzav and Shabbos HaGodel, because the first of all, the end of Sefer Shmois actually already introduces us to two different Svorim. So you have a Bereshis Shmois, Vayikro, Bamidbar, Dvorim. But when it finishes off with Shmois, then he says Vayokem es HaChotzer and Tzov el HaMishkan vel HaMizbeach. He explains everything that has to do with the how to make the avodah. And so the last, in other words, it's an introduction to Be'etzem, it's an introduction to Vayikro. But then he also continues, Vayachatzer onon elo el moed, v'loichol Moshe lo voi, v'halo Yisrael onon el HaMishkan yisu b'nei Yisrael b'kol ma'asehem. So he already gives us a little hint and a little introduction that the whole principle of the Mishkan, the traveling of Klal Yisrael, is dependent on the Mishkan. So whether there is the onon on the Mishkan, and so in other words, that's all the subject of Bamidbar. So we have here two psukim that introduces us to the next two Svorim. So the question is, so in other words, in theory, that's the pshat, that the theory, if the Torah would be digital, like it is in bonjour. In theory, the Torah would have been a digital Wikipedia type of text, then Shmois would be, there was Bereshis, then comes Shmois, and then from Shmois you can go either to Bamidbar or you go to Vayikro. So it's kind of both. It's kind of an introduction. Shmois introduces both together. So because normally, the whole idea of Masa, of traveling, could have been at the end of Vayikro as an introduction to Bamidbar. But no, it's introduced already in Shmois.
Yeah, but in Shmois we already traveled.
A little bit, yeah, we traveled, but the connection between the traveling and Mishkan, which is the whole idea of Bamidbar, that we only travel with the Mishkan. Yeah. The Mishkan defines where to travel and how to travel. That concept is in the sof of Pekudei. So it's kind of the end introduces us to two different books, which is Sefer Vayikro. But chronological, I think it makes more sense to read Vayikro first, because Vayikro was still giving Sinai, and Bamidbar is already after that period. But theoretically, in terms of the Seder, Vayikro and Bamidbar have parallel, could have been in parallel. But since it's written in a paper, one has to come before the other. Now, just one little thing that I always say, and it's important also for the next point, is it says in the Pasuk in Pekudei, Vayaso es hatzitz en ezer hakodesh zor Torah, vayirtu bo lo bichtach pituch hachoysim kodesh l'Hashem. So he put on the tzitz that was here on his forehead, vayitnu lo b'sil techeles, and he put on it the b'sil techeles. That all of b'sil techeles is lav dafka olov. It means that there were little holes, and then he attached it to the back of his head. A bit like tefillin, the way that we put on tefillin as well. But I always tell you that the idea that this is only Kohen Gadol had it sits, and you have psil tcheles. And we Jews, what do we have? We have tzitzis, and we also have psil tcheles. In other words, the tzitzis is not just a cloth and to remember, but the tzitzis is a big kohuna gedola that we have received. The kind of Hashem says that not everything that is in the Beis Hamikdash remains in the Beis Hamikdash, but I also give you as Jews the opportunity to wear something which will give you this kohanos, the mamleches kohanim, that you also have tzitzis with the psil techeles. It's very clear that there is a link, 100% that there is a link that between the tzitz and the psil techeles and the tzitzis, which has the same shoyresh and the psil techeles.
The tzitz is Had this particular color? You see, the tzitz was here.
It was here, but apparently the word tzitz normally is from a flower, flowery, which I don't know how
To put it in
no.
context.
Not in Chazal, I don't find any connection with flowers. Not like it was flowery decorated.
On a Parshas
But
Korach,
tzitz normally-
it has the meaning of a flower.
Of a flower, yes,
Yeah.
exactly. Tzitz has a meaning of flower. So if you check in the word,
Tzitz in Hebrew, the bloom pot.
okay,
It's like a
yeah, it's flowers. It's connected with
flower,
flowers.
yeah.
Yeah. So that's the idea of the and that's what the tzitz is. I explained you. The tzitz is also a flower. Yeah, the petals, the petals of a flower is the little, and it looks like a flower because it's got a stangle and which has knopen, the knots, which is like a rose. It has also knots, and then you have the petals that come out from it on the top. So it is a flower, and that's the idea. Now we don't see in Chazal, they never described the tzitz of the Kohen Gadol as a flowery ornament, but in the Torah it's called something flowery. So I don't know why. Maybe if you find something about it, but it shows you what I always call the democratization of the Avodas HaMikdash. Yes, Kohanim, they have to do it. They only can do it. We, as Israelim, we can't do anything in the Beis HaMikdash. But we also receive kind of little things that we take with us to everywhere we go. That this is the tzitzis and the psil techeles that is on us. That gives us this power of being kind of a Kohanim for the nations. So that's the whole idea that I always give. The importance of wearing tzitzis, that's basically, normally I say it before the holidays, but if you remember, this is the little mussar that I dare to give, because it's interesting, it's good to know. But there is the second inyan is Tzav always have to fall on Shabbos HaGodel, Erev Pessach, kind of, 3 days before Pessach. Next time is going to be in 20 years. We'll have the same. We will not have this. I'll be 75 the next time the Shabbos. What? Sorry? Shabbos Erev Pesach. Yeah. Yeah. Shabbos we have Pesach. Matzo Shabbos would be Pesach. I remember not so. I don't know. I remember I was once in Bilal. I remember and yeah. I remember it's not so. But apparently it's quite rare. Somehow statistically, that's how it is. Now we believe in much
probably to the shield he gave a few weeks ago.
That's what?
With the Moilam.
Yeah. It's clearly it's going to be connected with that, but it's why is it suddenly such a long period in between? I mean, it's a mathematical calculation. Yeah.
I think we had some years ago the Friday night.
Yeah, this can happen. Shabbos, Pesach can fall on Shabbos, but and Pesach can fall on Sunday, and if it falls on a Sunday, it's very rare. It's very rare. Frightening. Well, right. It's that's why I'm going to give a shir on Shabbos afternoon, because there's nothing to do anymore on Shabbos afternoon. Shabbos morning is a big avodah because you have to eat 2 meals. The Shabbos Rutus, you have to eat twice. It's quite complex. I think they're going to daven early, but in the afternoon there's nothing anymore to do. There's no, you're not allowed to prepare. Only halachically you're allowed to learn, but you can't prepare anything anyway. So I'll give a shiur on this afternoon. The first shiur. However, what is the connection with Tzav and Shabbos HaGodel? So I asked ChatGPT, because I didn't find it really. Sorry?
I don't know how
No, you can't trust it. So maybe there are clear svorim that explain Tzav, but basically, what he suggested was because it speaks here about the Matzo, the minche, and he explains then the idea of the al-chalus lechem chometz yaakov korban al derech toides shlomim. So the idea of there's chometz, and then there is the issue of matzah, of chometz in the mincha, that you're not allowed to have matzahs oteochel b'chatzah, that you're not allowed to make it lois of a chometz. So there is an union of chometz and matzah in Parshas Tzav, and so therefore to introduce us the union of chometz and matzah. But that's it's nothing to do with Pesach. That's the whole year round, right? It's the whole year round. It's nothing to do with Pesach. It's not the issue of chometz of a mincha. So a mincha is one of the 5 karbonos, and you're not allowed to cook it in chometz. You're allowed to make it chometz. The way I always explain you, and this is a chiddush that I introduced to you at the time, and I will repeat it now also, is again the same concept as tzitzis. Is normally a mincha only a kohen is allowed to eat. A kohen, we are not as Yisrael. There's a kohen here. No, we as Yisrael, and you Levim, if you would be, we're not allowed to eat a mincha. Mincha is only allowed to be eaten by a kohen. The only mincha that we are allowed to eat is the Pessach, the matzahs of the Seder. That's a korban, a mincha that you're allowed to eat. You can eat it as Israel, you're allowed to eat it as a Tumah, you're allowed to eat it outside of the Beis Hamikdash, outside of Eretz Israel. There's a special chiddush that the Torah gave us, the Erev Toich Matzahs, says there is the Gemara asks, is oral is also allowed to eat the matzahs? The Gemara had the question. Is the oral and the tumah allowed to eat matzah? So Moses says, yeah, because Erev Toich Matzah, everybody's allowed to eat. What is the Havamina? Why will I not be allowed to eat the matzah? Elomai, you see here that the matzah has a din of a korban that you are allowed to eat outside. You're allowed to eat the tumah. You have to eat outside, and you have to eat the tumah if you have tumah. So basically, it is mamash a korban, and it's a korban. It's not allowed to be chometz. So basically, we are on Matzah Shabbos. We will be eating a korban, and really, if you can manage to yourself, I know for the wife and children, they will make fun of you. Yeah, what do you want from us? Yeah, I don't know. I'm sorry about I don't know about your how it is at your homes, but if you can imagine that you are doing it, it gives you gives the whole experience of the Seder night a much higher meaning. We are able to once in our lifetime, even without the Beis Hamikdash, to eat a korban, which as the Kohanim used to eat. And it gives us a different meaning.
Used to eat with the meat on Pesach as
well. Yeah. Now I will add to that. But the Gemara says Mefurish that even without a korban Pesach, you also have to eat the matzah. And then the Gemara asks, because there's a whole shakla v'taya there. What about the oral and the tumah? If he doesn't eat the korban Pesach, he still have to eat the korban matzah. He's allowed to eat the matzah oral. So there's even Avamin why it should not be allowed to eat matzahs. What's the problem? Eating matzahs? What's the problem? You see here from Chazal that the matzahs have a special meaning. It's maybe you will not be allowed to eat the matzah.
Actually, the words it's linked when anything because to a new problem. We say when we eat a matzah because of the bread, but we don't even have clothes. But if we have to make I would say we have to eat Pesach, matzah, or more. What applies to Pesach also applies to matzah, or maybe more. That's why you might say the matzah is not. You cannot give it to an Narel to whatever.
When you want to say that it's not bulletproof, what I'm saying, you could make a different interpretation. Is that what you're saying?
No, my question is why you are using yours.
Yeah.
More than the very classic.
Yeah, because I like it because it's the. I always believe that the Yom Tovim are a democratization. That's why the Sukkah is also, I always explain the Sukkah as being, it's my opportunity to be the Lefnai V'Lefnim. It's my person. It's Yom Tov is kind of democratization of the Avodas Apnim that goes out for at least 1 week in the year, 2 weeks in the year. I mean, Yom Tov, Pesach, and Sukkot, you can do what the Kohanim did inside.
Extrapolation.
What? Sorry?
Extrapolation.
Extrapolation or democratization. It's pashtus of the kedusha that we are for this week. We are also kohanim, and we are also performing the rituals that it was only for the kohanim. We can perform them as well. So it's part of my general view, which try to give a higher meaning and a nicer meaning to something. And if you manage to concentrate and live it, prepared for it, it's also the reason why according to me, then the Goinen wanted to put Tzav Davke on Shabbos HaGodel. There is something else that I wanted to because normally Vayikra and Tzav, not a lot of people will give droshes. It will always be on Pesach. Never the Vayikra and Tzav will be a little bit neglected. So I wanted to share with you something which certain Effie Meir he wrote down, but he brings down from the Rav Kook and from the Yosef Ber. But I will just I will read it inside to you. So in Parshas Tzav, there is something which is very interesting because one of the other points that could be the reason why Tzav is Erev Pesach is what do we do Erev Pesach? A lot of people, besides if you travel, then you don't have to, but you kasher, element of kashering. And this is the first time we speak about kashering is in Parshas Tzav. And there is something very interesting in Parshas Tzav, and I would like to focus a little bit, a few minutes on that. How does it work? You have a korban chatos. You bring your korban chatos. The shechita normally happens by the coin. It's allowed to buy so, but normally happens by the coin. And then the zrika, and then they bring the emerim on the disber, and then they have to eat the meat. Yeah? And then how do they eat meat? They can't eat meat, so they have to cook it. There's no description how to cook it. They can make a steaks. They can make a barbecue, whatever they want. They choose whatever they want to do. And then the Torah says that during this process, your clothes, the clothes of the Godim will become dirty, and the kelim will be full of, will have been used for cooking chatos. So it's going to be full of blias, as we call it today. So what do? So it says here that it's very interesting. If your clothes are dirty, they have to be washed inside. Has to be broken. That if the Pinochoishes will be if you will use the Pinochoishes, then it has to be Nochubusholo Umoira Gushuta Bamoin. So the Torah explains you how the two kelim have to be kashed.
So there is no tikkun for klicheres, but for metal.
Yeah, so for klicheres you have to break, and for metal you are kashering. Moira Gushuta Bamoin, then Chazal learn it with hot water, not just cleaning. But it's very interesting that there is a difference between a klicheres and a klinochoishes. Now, if party of Hun, how do you call it, the environmentalists, would have seen that also, what would they say? So if you use a klicheres, you have to break it. So what is more environmental friendly is, of course, to use the klinochoishes, right? Because klicheres, you're going to waste. So it's very interesting. The Torah gives us kind of an option that the Koyanim are allowed to. The Torah doesn't tell you don't use the klicheres. The Torah looks after us, and Torah says no. If you use the klicheres, you have to break it. So, and there's no problem with it. So it's not Torah tells you don't do it because you are wasting money. You create waste, environmental waste. No, there is a So if you're going to use the klicheres, then what is the pshat? I mean, every normal person that maybe only in the 20th century, 21st century, but every normal person would think, let's not use the klicheres, right? There isn't in the Torah, and I don't think there is in Chazal, any, preference or advice given not to use the klicheres. So we have to understand what it means. And then there is another element which I would like to point out is there is a koina mechata oiso yoichleno b'mokom kodosh teochel b'chatzar oil moed. Here there is a poetic formulation which I would like to point out is yoichleno, you should eat it b'mokom kodosh, in the holy place. Teochel, it should be eaten b'chatzar oil moed, in the chatzar oil moed. Now those two are the same. Mokum Kodosh and the Chatzar Oil Moed means the same, right? The Kohen has to eat it in the Azor. There's no, but the Torah uses a different expression. One of them is b'mokom kodesh, the holy place, and the other one is b'chotzer, in the chotzer, which is also mokom kodesh. But when you say something, you're going to eat it in the chotzer, it means outside. Yeah, it's a lower level. Although it's the same place, we're not talking about this. Yeah, high kedusha, low kedusha. But the expression is different. One is called the mokom kodesh. I focus on the mokom kodesh, and the other one is I focus on the tatzar of the oil moed. So this is very interesting to Rav Kook and also Rabbi Yoshe, they're both of them. They give it a very interesting concept. We always know, and this is what I'm adding now, that when a person makes a sin, there's a chiyuv on us to take away the sin. Yeah, we have to, so a sinner, my son also asked me last week about this Shabbos, actually. Element of Goyel Adam, what is this Goyel Adam business? I mean, how can we explain that? I said, yeah, so I explained you already before. When a person touches the Ra, when a person is involved in killing, in Averes, he got contaminated by the Sitra Achra, by the dark forces. And it's our obligation is we have to you have to remove the Ra from within yourself. And you have two ways to remove. Either you would send him away, or you have to kill him. You have to, this is similar to Biur Chometz. Biur Chometz is either, and Chachumim hold, Biur Chometz is you take the Chometz and you throw it in the sea, or Rabbi Yehuda holds that Biur Chometz is the Sefer, Tafki the Sefer. And that same machlokes we find back in the Ubi'achto Romi Kirbecho. Sometimes it is just sending him away, it's chorus, sometimes it's mamish, no, it's the element of killing.
I think especially with both will promise Hashem that the Jewish soldiers will go to Mechom and kill their whatever, it won't be mashpia on them.
They won't be mashpia on their own, yeah, correct. But the idea is, what, sorry? Rachamim, exactly, yeah. But the idea is that we have to destroy, we have to sometimes use our Achzorius to, like I explained to the Ramchal, it is only with the Ra that you can fight the Ra. You cannot fight Toiv. The Toiv does not fight Ra. Toiv sends him away. When there is Toiv, the Ra cannot be. But when there is no Toiv, when the only way if you want to destroy Ra is you have to use Ra. That's why we have to kill, we have to hit the Malchus, something that you're not allowed to do. Everything that we're not allowed, when we punish, we do things that we're not allowed to do.
Yeah, but surely it's still surely. I mean, let's say it's a bit negligence, but it's not Ra, as you say, the mean people.
Yeah, but somebody who made an Avera, he was in contact with the Ra. He got contaminated with the Ra. So he has to somehow, there is a contamination, which goes very far. So even a shoygik is, he got into contact. You understand? It's like touching, tumor. Got into contact. Sorry, a mistake, but that's
they sometimes say that the shoygik is worse than mesit.
Yeah, that's why he's a korban and the other one not a korban. But that's there is this element of there's this element as well. But a shoygik indeed brings a korban. So there are three ways of destroying the Ra. Either you send him away, you're busy with the Ra, or you're busy with the person himself. So I am make tshuva. And how do I make tshuva is by bringing a korban. At least the animal would be sacrificed instead of me. So that we do this procedure, this protocol, we do it on the animal and not on the person himself. He says there are two ways of sinning, and that's why it's very interesting. There are two ways of sinning. You have people who sin because of external triggers. Coming to friends and family, you are influenced by others, but you yourself are not bad. It's just that you were influenced by others. And then you have those who sin because they have a problem inside. It's the inside that is corrupt. And you have two types of sinners. And so the people that are sinning because they were influenced, this is kind of a passive sinning, yeah? They are passive in their sinning. Because you're not and you agreed and you added on, and it's like a passive sinning. It's like it's not active, it's more passive. While if the problem is if to inside, then you are actively sinning. It's kind of more of an active. Now, when you do tshuva, says Rav Kook, and a bit of Yoshebeh, they both agree on that part. When you do tshuva, then you have two kinds of different tshuvas. So the ones that actively sinned, what he has to do is he has to break himself. So he has to go inside and break himself. It's very important to go and look at your own self, make a self-assessment and understand who you are and your weaknesses, and you have to break it. There's no other way. You have to change yourself. But a person that sinned passively, so the only thing that he has to do is make sure that he kind of avoids. Just have to make sure that he's not in the same situation and avoiding that element, and just what he explains is kind of he only has to clean himself from the sin. So he says the following. He says in the Posuk, he explains that you have two ways of eating the chatos. HaKohen HaMechata Oiso, the Kohen that is Mechata, Yoichlenu is active. He has to eat it actively. Yoichlenu means, and he will eat it, the Mokon Kodosh. So it means an active sin, which is a sin that comes from you. He has to be eaten, the Mokon Kodosh. It requires the Mokon Kodosh. That's a big sin. It requires a lot of cleaning. This has to be Mokon Kodosh. Teoche, if it is only a passively, Teochel is not Yoichlenu. Teochel means it will be eaten, B'chatzar Oel Moed. Then it's enough. It's not Mokum Kodesh, but it's B'chatzar Oel Moed. It's in the chotz. It's enough, a little superficial eating, kind of. But then he says, Ukli Cheres, Asher Tevushal Boy, Tevushal is actively, then you have to eat it in Ukli Cheres, Yishover. Then it has to be broken, because you have to break yourself. The idea is when you sin because of a problem that you have internally, then the chatos should be cooked in the klicheres. That's a bit of a chiddush. A kohen uses the klicheres if the mechata says, I made a sin, but the sin is I have to correct. So then he has to eat it in the klicheres, and then the breaking of the klicheres symbolizes the breaking of the person. He broke himself. Busholo is passive again. Yeah, the word on is tevushal. Tevushal means he will cook it. It's active. Ishover. Busholo, if it was cooked, it's in a passive form. Then it's enough cleaning. It's not a big deal. Yeah. So he explains very nicely, Rav Kook and a bit of Yoshebeh, that you have two kinds of sins, and these two kinds of sins is reflected in the klicheres, which is the person that does an aveira actively, that is internally corrupt. He has to be broken, so therefore you have to use a klicheres in order to afterwards break it. It's the breaking of the klicheres is the finalization of the tshuva.
So Tanis is a way of breaking yourself.
Yeah, always. Why do you say that?
Because many times they say tshuva is Tanis.
Tanis, yeah. Tanis is kind of a breaking of ourselves. If we believe that it comes from ourselves, and if it's a passive avera, then you make voidedus, so you change franks, or you have to Moishav leitzim no yosha. For me, that's a symbol. The leitzim are the ones that are creating problems, unfortunately. We all know it always starts with a let's. No, seriously, Navera starts with a let's. It's with a joke. And from this, what? Sorry? Yeah. But it's a beautiful. Somebody want to say something?
I didn't hear why the chaos is.
No, so the klicheres represents them the corrupt the person was corrupt.
Why? I didn't understand the why. Why it represents
because the cheres is the lowest level of material, so it represents a sinner.
You mean the lowest or the more authentic?
Ooh.
Because that is the earth. The others are worked on it.
Okay, maybe you're Yehud.
No.
No. So you are Yehudi, and you are from the Yehud. You say that we humans are sinners by
Yeah,
definition.
but that's what you just said.
Yeah.
Not me, you. I mean, it's coming from the person. It means it's from himself.
Yeah.
So you can hide on top with
Yeah.
any kind of material, but inside who you are,
Yeah.
you are.
Very nice.
That's
Very
what,
nice.
that's what you said.
Very nice. Very nice. Yeah. Because we as the sinners, then if normally person are sinners from themselves. And so the Cheres represents, no, I didn't mean that. I meant it because I wanted to say that the Cheres is the lowest. You have a Nechoishes, and Cheres is really the lowest. Why would I cook it in a Cheres? Why would a Kohen cook in a Cheres? First of all, in the Beis HaMikdash, it's not nice. Why would a Kohen even cook in a Cheres? Plus, it's a waste. He has to break it. He will have to break it. It's the Green Party, how do you call them? The Ecolo, they will make from on the front, they say, don't use Klicheres. Why would they use Klicheres? It's a big waste. It's one of those mysteries in the Torah. And but according to Rav Kook, it's beautiful because the Klicheres represents the one that will have sinned because he is a sinner. But the one that sinned only because he got influenced by outside, then he's okay, but he has to. So the clean choices is enough, and just to.
When I just tried to figure out food.
Yeah.
And I know no one, including myself, that I would say I did the bagel because I'm rotted inside on that part. Never. You always say who's gonna say? I mean, even if someone tells you I did it because I'm bad, even for the benzene, you are disqualified. Say Nick, you disqualify yourself.
Yeah.
So how you can go to a Korean and say, no, it's because of my inside.
I think we all know, for example, when it comes to sexual sins, it comes from inside. Yeah, it's this type of sins, or eating things which are not okay, blood or something like that. That's a bit of a weird. That's I don't know. Okay, there by chance it would be weird, but and you have things which you are in a sviva that are doing averas, and you want to fit in. You feel that you don't want to stick out. Sometimes you invite and then you see that
because you feel you need to work on.
Yeah, okay. Like always. Yeah, you're right. Okay, I understand what you're saying.
No,
I understand. I just saw it and will. It's Hashem. It says I only introduce you, and then maybe it's a good question. It's well, how do we define?
Non, est-ce que je peux dire un mot?
Ouais.
Je peux me tromper, mais Ein Adam, le principe, Ein Adam, Beisim Atzmo Rushur, c'est pénalement, devant le Beddin, c'est pas étudier un cas où une personne vient se dire, moi je suis un bouche. On ne sait pas juger ça. On n'a pas l'équilibre pour juger ça. Mais c'est sûr que dans le Tej Bonnet, une personne doit se faire chaque jour.
Ouais,
Une personne se fait rouge, c'est sûr. Comme ça, le judaïsme fonctionne.
Ouais. Ça, c'est le judaïsme.
Il y a une différence entre le pénal, le Bezdin qui sépare, et qui vient un type qui vient avec des problèmes, il dit qu'il a un rouge, et le Tej Bonnet, parce qu'une personne, il est obligé qu'il doit se culpabiliser.
Mais des fois ça vient, il sent que ce n'est pas, il a été un moment de faiblesse et influencé par des excès.
Mais ça, c'est dans le Matzo rouge, il va s'analyser.
Ouais.
Il se met rouge. Il dit, maintenant, comment je suis arrivé à ça? Là, il va faire
son raisonnement.
Ouais.
En tout cas, this is a very interesting concept. It answers a lot of questions, and I wanted just to point it out because it's also part of probably the reason why Tzav is on Shabbos HaGudel, because it's the moment of kashering, and it gives the importance of kashering of kelim on Erev Pesach. By the way, there are some Rishonim who told it's mitzvah say to kasher. We even asked why we don't make a brocha. But that's the whole discussion we had already. If kashering is only a biological, mechanical way of extracting the blias, then why would it be a mitzvah say? Or is it mamish? No, there is an issur to use a kli which was used issur, and then you have to kasher it. Is kind of not mechanical, but it's a chalois. The Torah gives us, tells you with this it becomes kosher. So it's like tefillah. If you put it in the mikveh, it becomes Torah without understanding. you kasher it, it becomes, according to the Rambam, it's more of a alois, British of the Torah, rather than a biological, mechanical way of the what has been swallowed up by the king. I'm not going to give you again the sheer on time, but that's the idea behind that. The last point I wanted to give as introducing, and then I will speak about it on Shabbos more in depth. I had this week somehow I had this idea of questioning myself that there seems to be big fight in the Torah in the time of between farmers and shepherds. The idea of farmers and shepherds already starts from the beginning of humanity. The two brothers, Cain and Hevel, one of them was Cain was a farmer, you know, travaille la terre. Then you have shepherds. Un berger. Les bergers versus les fermiers, les farmers, the shepherds, boeren versus herders. It's the fight already from the beginning of humanity. This was a two fight, and Hashem seemed to give preference to shepherds.
Where else?
Oh, so where else? So I opened by chance to prepare a little bit. I opened by chance this. I got some first laundry gave me. It passed away. Yeah. And this is from Yosef. Wrote Monte Rosenu, Agapes Palalagoda. And I opened up, and because last week, by chance, I asked this to a lady at work. I'm not going to go into the. Just by chance, I asked her. I was like thinking while I asked her that you understand the difference between farmer, but you didn't understand what I wanted from her, so I forgot. I opened this paper and unbelievable, I just have to smile. He has a royal stone, royal de Adomo. Unbelievable. I was like, wow. And then he starts, but I will work it more through. But it's clear, he says that when Yosef says to his brothers, where are you going to come? Well, you should say, unfortunately, already from our forefathers, we are Anshe Mikne, we are Royetzon, we are, how do you call them again? Herders. Yeah. And apparently, yeah, okay, but there they were fixed, they were the land. But here they were not land. They did not have land, they had made it land. And then they were going according to the community. The Royetzon is somebody who moves, is a nomad. Yeah? אנשי מיקנו יעבודך ומנורים ועברתו גם, אנחנו גם אבותינו, very apologetic, I'm sorry, but you know, our tradition, there's nothing we can do. ואבותינו בארץ גוישן, and therefore I will ask to live in the earth גוישן, why? ישראל אהבת מצרים כל רועי צאן. They hate all the רועי צאן. Pessach in Bereshit. So there is, Mitzrayim is an agricultural country where bread fits in term. This is from this time. And the Jews, the Hebrews, they are roitzon, and there is a tohevo. They are justice. The idea behind that, and this I will develop for next week. The idea behind that is the one that, and that's what he explained it a little bit. I will not elaborate today, but next week. He explains that the way that the roitzon are parasitic. That's how I understand. And this is the idea that a farmer is one that has one land and develops that land and he defends that land and he bound to the land. He loves this land and he works. And the roitzon does not have a land. He eats wherever there is grass, he goes. And if there's grass there, if there's no more grass here, then move his fence and he's going to move where there is a grass. Oh, yeah, but it's less work than what I like very, very much. And actually, he says it without that when it says by Moro es Chayem, then I will read you a text. And the next week I will elaborate a little bit. By Moro es Chayem, ba'avoido kosher, b'choymu vilvenim, u'b'chol avoido b'sode. You, parasitin, you come here and now you're going to start working with it. Understand? You're going to start building, you're going to start working. It's really the hatred of the one that is the farmers to those parasites that are sitting and dreaming and thinking of Hashem and of philosophy and the dog that makes and so on. Because the difference, the tension that there is between the Roy Yitzhak and the Ovid Avodah. The reason why I'm saying it, and now I'm already giving you a hint of the big finish I will not explain for next week. I want to elaborate a little bit more. The reason why I'm saying it is that the whole Matzo and with a Pessach is actually the combination. We were shepherds. Hashem wants us to become farmers. For us to become the idea that we become farmers. I'm sorry if I will explain it next week, but is very particular on that. We have to become farmers. When Mashiach will come, we'll have to work. And not give it to the Goyim. The mitzvah of the Gonecha will be on the Jews. They have to do it. That's a Chasam Sofer famous. He says it twice. The Koilim Gilad don't like to hear it.
So
But,
was that also the reservation of the Meraglim?
Maybe, always. Not only the Meraglim, all Klal Yisrael did not want to become farmers. I personally believe this I have to develop, that the reason why we had to go to Mitzrayim and is Hashem wanted us to become farmers. And that's a painful situation. We have to stop our nomadic existence and we have to start learning to become farmers. And that's a painful situation. The Inu, that they like the picture to change, transformation only comes with pain. Stress. What? Sorry? Yeah. Today is not anymore, but we'll have to go back. And that's where I will say something which, for the first time that I see Rabbi Yoshua Soloveitchik say something which is similar to Manitou. Omer, you can listen. Says here, he explains, and no, I'm not good. So he explains the difference between the idea of a farmer versus a shepherd. He says, I can't read it even in thing. The unification of the values of a shepherd and the values of a farmer.
No preference.
No, there's no preference. Both, we have to be both. And what Mechiddish I want to say, which he doesn't say it, the Korban Pesach, you have to eat a tzoin together with Matzo. It has to be together. Because what we're going to have to learn to do is, we're going to have to become farmers and shepherds together, yachad. And that explains why we have to eat it together. That even Hillel held that we have to even eat it. It has to be eaten at one. Because we should not neglect one, not neglect the second one. We have to be both together. And Pesach is really the start of when we had to make a transformation from becoming a shepherd to farmers. But not neglecting the shepherd. We have to be both. Okay? But this he doesn't say. That's what I say to explain why the Pesach be eaten with the matzah.
One of the Thomas stories, like Rabbeinu had become to be able to get here.
Very good. Yeah, very good. Yeah, the shepherd is really the preferred matzah, but it's he does never defend land. So if there's a problem here, he goes somewhere else. A farmer defends his land. A farmer that is where, because without land, he even identifies himself. He brings down my house, how do you call it? My house, my castle. He's very much into property of the land. And that's something only with true farming that people are willing to fight against the enemy. If people are shepherds, if the enemy comes, the strong enemy, coming, ooh la la, let's go, and they leave. There's no other. Avraham Avinu left, went to Mitzrayim, was hungry instead of, they leave. The shepherds are nomads, and they are not going to fight for land. A farmer will fight for land, and that's what Hashem wants us. He wants us to fight for the land, to be strong. It's very interesting. I'm gonna read. I see that you're not.
I think Yitzchak was more the farmer type.
Very, very good. He mentioned this also, but it's a trial. He calls it more as a trial. I'll have to go through it. Because Yitzchak did take the Meir Shorim, the idea that Yitzchak tried farming, but he claims that it was not. It went back to shepherd. Yitzchak tried in Eretz Yisrael maybe. As he introduced, very, very good,
Because he was specifically forbidden to leave.
To leave Eretz Yisrael, and so it's the other way around, maybe, yeah. So here it is not being able to leave Eretz Yisrael, then I have to learn how to farm. Maybe the Yankee that was allowed to leave Eretz Yisrael, leave me alone. Nobody wants to be a farmer. The Jews do not want to be farmers. The chiddush of the kibbutzim it became is a chiddush. For me, it's like Moises. That the Jews, the lawyers and the doctors wanting to go up and become farmers. The whole idea of kibbutz, if it is this agricultural idea, yeah.
But then we're left with the matzah and without the Pessach.
We are left with the matzah without the
farmers, without the land.
Yeah, without the land. Very nice. Yeah. There is a lot to. I don't know. I loved it. I loved it because it thinks like Manitou again, this ideology of transformation, and he says at the end, we have to keep both, and that's always the unification of the values of Manitou. That's not one more than the other, and that's something which I this little shtickle is mamish shtickle where it fits well with an ideology of Manitou. Yeah.
Will you or not? Open recently the explanation of the Melvin and Shirashem, or Hashem actually is compared to a shepherd.
Yeah.
And we see the body, which is the castle, the farmer of the body of Mohammed.
Yeah.
And you have to fight with the soul that comes out from it. It's a bit what you.
Maybe you can send me. I'm gonna work out this week.
I don't have it from in front.
No. So whatever. My question. So my question to you is, if you like it, and if you can think about it this week, and then give me information so that I can develop, because I've got the feeling that we touched something very important.
But don't spread it too much, because people will not want Moshiach to come, because they have to work.
They have to start working and become farmers. Boeren. We'll have to become boeren.
You pay people for it.
No. Hashem Sofer says you're not allowed to give. That's why he says it. No. No Arabs. He says clearly. He says, Jews. I'm not going to give you racist. Okay. But if you have, it's something which I discovered this Shabbos, and I was so happy. It was unbelievable. I want to share it with you. Mamish, you open a safe and you ask a question, and you want to think about the open safe, and you get it was for me like a revelation, and it's beautiful. It's a beautiful shtickle. This only shtickle is for me was worth it. Because it really introduces us to the new way of thinking of not extremes to one, not into the other, but also the concept of transformation, which is the mutation, which Manitou always speaks about. He also speaks about that we are nomads from nature, and then we have to become farmers. It doesn't explain the reluctance, but it can be explained the whole. here, and for me, that's what I explain it, is that we had to go through the Shibut Mitzrayim in order to become farmers. The Hashem had no other choice. He cannot bring us and then tell us, no, somebody has to, with a stick, but not too much. Mitzrayim did already exaggerate. And that Hashem said, okay, no, this is already too much. That's another question. Yeah. We had the whole door. We got mom, which is even easier. So yeah. But we were hoping that we would teach our children further. But the Levanim, and it's beautiful. That the avoid the bastode, as I know him, it's so powerful in the words. It fits very well, and a lot of halachas can be understood later on in the whole Torah, the Isur and the mitzvahs of agriculture. I will develop that, but if you have any sources that you can share with me on this subject, it's how do you call it? Stimulates you, and it's a beautiful. It's really
also elevates like the book, the nationalistic.
Exactly. Yeah. The whole idea of the working in that soil, and I explained you already. The focus in Hashem, according to a method, is planting a tree in that soil. That's how you have dovuk. The Keren Kayemet Israel. That's really the idea. There is so much that you can now develop, but the idea of the shepherd versus the shepherd Hashem behind you, and I don't know, you can start to develop a lot of things of the shepherd's idea. But whatever you have, please send it to me, and then I will try to aggregate them and give this year already the first time, and I'm sure that it will develop. This is really a point of development. Sorry?
Yeah. Could you just remind me word definition for you of a shepherd and a shepherd?
A shepherd is for me personally. But I understand. The shepherd is somebody that he goes opportunistically, and he moves as the opportunities. So he moves according to opportunities. He brings them to where there is. So he's not fixed in a place. He's a nomad that is not fixed in a place. Now I know you can be fixed and just
the value.
So he has values. To be honest, I didn't have a lot of time to go through the whole point, but he explains a little bit the values.
For you, I mean.
Yeah. No, I will. The values is
you improve? I mean, good values.
Apparently, I don't understand, to be honest. I don't understand why Hashem prefers the shepherd.
What is the shepherd?
Because he's more intellectual business. So he's not bound to the land. So he's more intellectual. So he has time to. He has looks while the sheep are eating. What? Yeah, apparently. No, that's fine. So Hevel was a shepherd, and Cain was he prefers. David HaMelech and Moshe Rabbeinu become shepherds. So there is this preferences of shepherd. Hashem is our shepherd. Also, it's Hashem himself is represented. While he pushes us to become farmers. So there is this for me, it's either shepherd is a verticality and the farmer is the horizontality. And by the way, I've got a new word, because you have the other and then you have the next. So you have the other is the horizontality, and the third dimension is the next generation. It's the building. You're building for the next generation. And very interesting, because in French, say l'autre et le prochain. Le prochain means normally the next, but le prochain can also mean, I don't know, the prochain can also mean the other, no?
Yeah.
Donc, prochain.
Prochain means someone close to you. I mean, it's a
Yeah.
person that in the community or.
Yeah.
The other, it means the alien.
The alien, yeah. But prochain also means the next. Le prochain means the next.
To the next.
Yeah.
The next you
So I have a new word. I will introduce to you, by the way. It's the not the other, but you have the me, I may not mili, Shani last money, is the next. The idea of now doing it because the next generation needs you to do your job that they can do further. Yeah, that's the That's the next situation. So very quickly, briefly, sorry. Yeah, very quickly, we saw we saw that end of Shemois splits up in two, and then these two first are equal, and then Bamidbar, but theoretically they are both equal. And then we saw that Parshat itself, the idea that Parshat itself has two elements are probably related to Pessach is the Matzo, that you have to be a mincha Matzo, and that's why I explained to you that for me personally, the personal opinion is the Matzo we are eating is a korban that we are eating as well, and then the kashering was very important in Parshat Tzav, which is also something we do on Pesach. I explained you uninterestingly how Rav Kook splits up the the Peres. One of the questions you can ask to anybody: why would the Torah allow us to use Peres? Be broken. So we're going to waste, mamash a wasting element, and we explained it that way. We also explained. Then I explained you the idea of the shepherd. We were shepherds, nomads. We became. We have to become farmers. That's the big challenge that Klal Yisrael always had and always will have, unless Moshiach will come, then we'll be forced to work on the land. But that is the idea that unification of the two values is the amak to moroir and yochlu, the korban pesach to be eaten with matzah and moroir, which is vegetable. So in other words, it has to be together. In other words, to show that the shepherd and the farmers both have to live in unification. They both have to be and live in harmony together. There's no like one is better than the other. John, and please, if you have any information on that last part, please send it to me. Whatever you come up with ideas, let me know, and then I'll try to make it a nice shield for me. We should be able to bring the Korban Pesach in Yerushalayim, care of your main or main. Sorry. The passage.
Tu peux qu'il y ait des points que tu